Everyone, this is Max and Max CTCG. Thanks for joining me in another video. So in this video, we're going over a new Millennium card that came out. This is going to be an INFO, so where a lot of the new Millennium cards are going to be. So check this out and see how it helps out the deck and if it makes it any better, because I think some of the support so far that I was just looking through is pretty good. So we have Millennium Anhk, we have a normal spell card. Show 5 Forbidden 1 monster cards from your hand, deck, and or face-up field. Then special summon 1 unstoppable Exodia Incarnate from your extra deck. Then shuffle the face-up monster cards you control into the deck except Exodia monsters, whose original levels are 10 or higher, and Millennium monster cards. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of this turn. After activation, shuffle this card into the deck instead of sending it to the grave. So this is a really good card. This is pretty much like a branded fusion for the Exodia deck, but what's nice about this, it's not sending cards to the graveyard, so you're not going to be able to ash this. All it's doing is just showing your opponent the 5 Forbidden 1 monster cards from your hand, deck, and or face-up field, and then you get to special summon the Exodia fusion. So it's really cool. What's really nice about this too is that this is like a 1-card way to get to the fusion, which gets you to a pretty nice setup. So we'll kind of check this out, and this also works with the rest of the Exodia cards that we've seen with like the new Exodia like Millennium support. Since I believe we're going to be revealing this card, because I think this was Millennium Cross, but now might be Millennium Anhk. So there'll probably be some translation stuff, just making sure everything lines up correctly, but this should be the card that they reveal to not pay life points. So there's some interesting relation to that as well. Everyone, this is Editing Max. If you're enjoying the content, hit that thumbs up button, give the video a like, leave any comments if you have any discussions you want to start, and consider subscribing to the channel if you want to see more of this type of content. Everyone, thanks again for watching the content. I hope you enjoy, and we'll get back to it. So what we're going to do is just look at the Exodia monster and kind of see how does this relate to the support to really see how good it is. So what we have here is the Phantom Exodia Incarnate. It's going to be the Unstoppable Exodia Incarnate that we have. I think just some name change update stuff from like the OCG and names in TCG. So this takes the 5 Forbidden 1 monsters. So it can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, so that's pretty nice. Once per turn, if this battles during damage calculation, you can make it gain attack equal to your current life points. So if you haven't paid any life points, this thing's gonna be 8,000 the moment it battles. And this is only once per turn, so only like during that one battle will it gain all this attack, otherwise it'll just have questionable attack. But that's really good. So if you just summon this in attack mode, your opponent can't just normal summon attack over it, they have to play into it more. So it has the option that once per turn when a spell/trap card or an effect is activated. Quick effect, you can negate the activation, so you get to negate a spell or trap card or its effect, and just negate the activation, which is really nice. And then once per turn during the end phase, you can set 1 Exodo spell/trap or 1 Obliterate directly from your deck. Once per turn during your standby phase, you lose 1,000 life points. So this is going to make it where you lose life points so it gets weaker over time. But you do get to set a spell or trap from your deck, so also that's not going to get ashed. Plays around draw. So that's also really good. And if we look at the cards that you can set off this, we have the first card here. This is the Raging Hellfire Exodo Flame. So this is if you control a level 10 or higher Exodia monster, destroy all cards your opponent controls. You can banish this card from your grave, except the turn it was sent there, then activate one of its effects, add a Forbidden 1 monster from your deck or grave to your hand, or shuffle 5 of the Forbidden 1 monsters from your graveyard and or banishment into the deck. So this is really cool because what you can do is you'll summon the Unstoppable Exodia Incarnate. You already have the small trap negate, it's going to be hard to run over, at least like with just summoning and going into it. And then you get to have the ability to search the Exodo spell or trap during the end phase. So you get this during either end phase, so just during the end phase, not yours or your opponent's specifically, just in the end phase. And you could search this card and literally just board wipe your opponent for everything. Which is cool, all cards they control. So that's really awesome. So you can make it hard to kind of play through this. Then you also get potential follow-up. I don't know if there's any other good Forbidden 1 cards to add outside of the normal monsters. So this might not be very good in terms of a follow-up card. We just would depend on what the options are. I think that might be what these are for. So maybe if you have a discard, you need to send something to the grave, you can do that. It also has the ability to shuffle those back. But with the spell card, you don't really even need to worry about that because you'll just reveal them and they're still in the deck. The bad thing though is that they are all kind of bricks, so that's kind of the big issue. The other card you can set is Exodo Blaze. This would probably be better to set onto your opponent's end phase, so you could use it for like a kill card. And it says 1 level 10 or higher monster you control with Exodia and its original name gains these 3 effects. You pay half your life points. You cannot activate other cards or effects for this turn. Also destroy as many cards in the spawn trap zone as possible. Then equip 5 Forbidden 1 monsters from your hand and or deck to this card, each as an equip spell card. That gives it 2000 attack. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. So this would be nice on your opponent's end phase, because during your end phase, you're probably going to search Raging Hellfire or the Obliterate card we're going to go over next. You nuke your opponent's board if they set any back row. During their end phase, you get this card. And then it's a quick play, so you can use this at any point, and you could use this, make your Exodia monster. You can make it so that your Exodia monster gain these effects. You can destroy any of their spawn trap cards that they have set. You can equip your Forbidden 1 cards that are in your hand or deck, so if you draw them, you can equip them. It gains 2000 attack for each. Plus it'll also gain the battle phase increase for your life points for the turn, so it'll have that. So it'll be a huge monster that you literally can just kill your opponent with. So that's pretty cool. Probably a searchable one of. That would be my guess on this one. And then you also have Obliterate. So this is another option. You can target one monster in the field, send one Forbidden 1 monster or Exodia card from your hand or deck to the grave, and if you do, return the target to the hand. So this one doesn't seem as good as the other one. So there's that side of it. It does have an effect that if it's sent from spell and trap to the graveyard, target one Forbidden 1 monster or Exodia card in your grave, add it to your hand. So technically, I guess if this is face up, when you use this, you destroy as many spell and trap cards as possible. You can then search a follow-up card potentially with this, so maybe that's helpful. So there's some interesting synergies here for how kind of all these cards are working together. But I think this Raging Hellfire for a board nuke, plus the spell trap negate, plus it's going to be hard to beat over, does seem pretty cool all off one card, which is really awesome, and that's really interesting. We also have a few other things with this, so this is going to be searchable. So there's going to be some ways to, I think, make this work, and I think Exodia looks like, I think it's at least a playable rogue deck. I think this is going to be similar to how when the Gate Guardian support came out, it was like a playable rogue deck, but I think this looks better than that by far. I think the big issue with this deck is that you're playing 5 bricks, and I think that's what hurts a lot with this type of strategy. Because the one thing that sucks with this card is that you have to show them from your hand, deck, or face-up field. You can't just shuffle back from grave or anything, so it's kind of what those traps do. So I think that's kind of the biggest downside. Hey everyone, this is Editing Max. If you're enjoying the content and you want to support the channel, you can check out the TCG affiliate link in the description below. It supports the channel and costs you nothing, and you'll just be doing the same thing you normally do when buying cards from TCG Player. If you're new to buying cards from TCG Player, check out my website. I have a section on it that helps out newer people, kind of explaining some aspects of TCG Player, so that way you get the most out of your money and don't kind of fall into any of these kind of weird things that some people do to kind of push up the prices of cards. If you want to become a patron of the channel, check out my Patreon. It's another way you can help support the channel. We have different perks you can check out, like a lot of archetype proxies you can see on the screen. Every week I put a new one out that everyone on the channel can vote on, and then those go to Patreon where you can print out. You can also join for early access. Some videos will be 1 day early access, others that are in a longer series could be, weeks out in advance where you can get the entire thing at once. Everyone on YouTube has to wait week by week for all of the videos to come out. You can also join for a exclusive Yu-Gi-Oh! Reaction series where I watch through the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime and we can have a discussion in the comments and kind of watch through it together as well, plus other perks coming out in the future. Everyone, thanks again for watching the content. But overall, I think it's a really interesting card. Let me know if you guys liked looking through the other options that kind of relate to these cards. I'm just kind of looking these up on YGO Pro Deck, just kind of seeing the different cards that relate to these new support. And let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm really curious to what you think. Do you think this is good? I think it's really solid, especially for a rogue deck. Again, I think the big issue is just all the bricks you're playing, but I do think it has legs. I think the strategy makes sense, and I think it's pretty solid, and I think will be a fun deck that a lot of people really like playing, especially people that maybe like the game more casually. I think they'll be fun for them, as well as people that want to test out competitively. I think it'll be maybe okay, potentially top a regional, do okay at locals, maybe better, but I'm feeling more into the local, maybe regional levels, kind of my guess right now. We'll kind of have to see what the decks look like and the builds and how well it performs. Everyone, thanks for joining me in this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.